Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 378 for the 8th of March. Let's start off with weird statements. So it's been a long time since we have a weird statement. This time the weird statement coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They, in their daily report, in their morning report, claims that based on their preliminary information, the Russian forces have used up all their stocks of artillery ammunition from the central part of Russia. So they are now moving ammunition from even further away of Russia to Ukraine. So this increased delivery time, and then they say that the ammunition is badly kept. 50% have rust and everything, and they are now expecting the Russian military to lose to have shortage, artillery ammunition shortage over the next 2 to 3 months. So let's see. And Leopard tanks, no, pro-Ukrainian side, the pro-Ukrainian people, you can now celebrate now. The German defense minister announced that 18 Leopard 2 A6 and 3 Leopard 2 A6 PO, which is the Portuguese version of the Leopard tank, that means in total 21 tanks of the Leopard 2 will arrive in Ukraine by the end of March. So given the situation the Ukraine is facing, we might see this tank being deployed earlier than expected. But as usual, for those that follow me a long time, I have mentioned before, when you get all this kind of new stuff, you should not just throw them into combat, because you could form them up into a proper military formation and then do counteroffensive or whatever. If you just send it to the front, then you are likely to just waste it. Over at the poorly drawn banana, there is a alleged assassination attempt on the Transnistria leader. So according to War Gonzo and actually by many other sources, the head of state or head of a Transnistria Republic, the Transnistrian Moldovan Republic, Vadim Krasnoselsky, has been the target of an assassination attempt. Apparently, they arrested the suspected terrorist or assassination guy or whatever, and they planted a bomb on his car, which is, I think, is a jeep or something. Then with a huge explosive device, and which will actually kill a lot of civilians in the process. And they point the SBU as the culprit, of this assassination attempt. So this entire thing could be made up. I just want to highlight that this entire thing can be made up, because the assassination attempt did not even happen. So even if it happened, it could also be a false flag. So I just want to just to put this across first. But it does shows a sign of a rising tension or temperature over in the region of Transnistria. And over at the southern front, we have troop movements reported at Novoberezslav in the Kherson region. According to the pro-Russian source Ryba, they say that the Ukrainian forces is moving equipments into the area of Novoberezslav. And they say that this could be an indication of a possible offensive in the coming spring campaign. So let's see, whether this comes to be anything. But Novoberezslav is actually very near to Nova Kakhovka, and this is actually a very vital city. And if they do a landing from Novoberezslav over to Kakhovka, they can actually attack and actually move south and move towards Crimea. And this is possible. I think this is not exactly implausible. And I will probably do a video on a possible winter offensive over at the Kherson region to describe more what could we expect in the possible Ukrainian counteroffensive offensive over in the Kherson region on the southern part of the Dnipro River. Stay tuned. And over at the Zaporizhzhia line, we do not have ground operations or assault operations. We only have shelling reported at Novo-Danilivka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, and we also have a shelling reported at Novosilka over at the Velika Novosilka north of the Zaporizhia line. That's all we have from the Zaporizhia region, and moving into the Donetsk Front. So Donetsk region is here. At Donetsk Front, we have fighting reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry at Voleda, and they say that the Russians conducted unsuccessful offensive actions at Voleda. So, however, this is not echoed by anyone. I'm not sure where the Voleda attack come from. Maybe it's around this area here. I'm not exactly sure. So if there is, it's probably around here where the Russians push, or it could be just nearby, and then it's actually not that much, because I have my doubts if they can actually hold this area. Otherwise, the Russian Defense Ministry simply announced shelling at Voleda and at Palivka. So Palivka now is currently not entirely under Russian control, because the Ukrainians actually hold the line north of the Kashlahash River, and so the Ukrainians actually hold the northern area here of Palivka, and the Russians actually hold the urban region of Palivka. So so when they say shelling, they are probably talking about all these areas. They are just hitting Ukrainian entrenchments all around this area, where they are trying to prevent another crossing back into the Voleda region from Palivka. Moving on, we are now at Novo-Mikhailivka. There is fighting reported near Novo-Mikhailivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, and in the same report also mentioned Marinka. We do not have any information about Marinka though. So that's all from the Donetsk Front. And moving into the Avdiivka Front. Avdiivka Front, the Russian forces continue their offensive in this region, with fighting reported at Nevelsky, Pervomaisky, north of Vodian towards Zhevene, which might actually be the same thing as this one. Attack from on the north of Apitny, Kayamka, near Vasily and Krasnohorivka. So the information is coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry for Pervomaisky, Nevelsky. North of Vodian is actually reported by Braiba, as they mentioned the Russian forces have captured the high ground and they are moving towards the village of Zhevene. So previously this position is Ukrainian. They have pushed up, finally overtaken this entrenchment, which is actually on the high ground, and then they are now pushing northward towards Zhevene. And this is indicated by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry as fighting near Zhevene. So the attack might not actually come from this direction, as I usually indicate, might actually referring to the same one here. The pro-Ukrainian source, Myro Shenikov, reported that there is fighting north of Opitne as well, as he mentioned the overall offensive in this entire line from the Russians against the Ukrainian lines. And moving away from the western part of Avdiivka, we go to the northern part. Fighting is reported at Kayamka, and Raiba reported fighting is currently along the area of the forest belt and near the Krasnohorovsky pond, which is actually this pond here. So the fighting is currently around this region, this area here, with the Russians pushing, and probably in the forest region. Might actually be here, or it actually could be here. So actually I should draw it this blue so it's a bit more clear, but I don't think it's this one, so it's probably this one. And moving up, we have fighting reported at Krasnohorivka, according to Raiba. And so they said that the Russian forces resumed the attack in the direction of Krasnohorivka, so there's a push in this direction. And north of Krasnohorivka, we do not have anything about Novokalinove or Alexandropil, which was reported to be fighting the day before. And that's all from the Avdiivka Front. Moving into the New York Front, we have nothing at the New York Front, and we are now into the Bakhmut Front. At the Bakhmut Front, we have very interesting information coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They reported fighting near Alexandropil Shutine, which is actually this town here, or this town here, which actually begs the question where the attack come from. So tentatively, if you look out, if we zoom out, I've indicated the fight. So I want to circle so because the name don't come out. So the Russian forces, I map it as like this. The Russian forces is currently, maybe there's some kind of a salient or progress in this area, and they are pushing in this direction. There could also be a possibility that they actually captured Bilohorivka, and they are now moving towards this Alexandro Shutine. But I doubt so. If they capture Bilohora, I think the pro-Russian sources will be very excited about it. So we will continue to keep watch. Usually, when Ukrainian Defense Ministry do something like that, it tends to just disappear. The information cannot be corroborated, and nothing happened ever since. Like they also mentioned fighting at Preshetine previously, on also Delievka. So it could be a nothing burger, like you go and buy a burger at McDonald's, and they didn't give you the chicken or the ham or the beef because they got sanctioned. So yeah, so it could be a nothing burger. So moving over to in the Ivaniske region, we have fighting reported at Ivaniske and the west of Ivaniske, according to Myroshnikov. The initial information here is by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Myroshnikov reported that the Russian forces is currently pushing in the western part of Ivaniske, and they're trying to take back control over the road. So otherwise, the fighting is currently moving towards Ivaniske as well. And at the moment, the Ukrainians are still managing to hold a very strong line, and they do occasional counter attack or raiding attacks to make sure that the Russians are unable to build on their offensive to keep the road open, which is actually this road. They want to keep this road open. At least by the time they go to this road, they can actually still move up from here. So it's not. It actually seems like a pretty safe place, except that the road is a little bit muddy over at this region here. Otherwise, I think it's still able to be used pretty effectively by the Ukrainians. Or they can actually just pontoon this area here, and then they can actually just cross the bridge. Moving on, at the Bakhmut region, Bakhmut city itself, there's fighting reported south of Bakhmut, according to Ryba, where they say that there's fighting near this road. Independence Road is actually the Nezalezhnosti Street, and which is actually means independence. And they say that there's a MiG-17 monument. Tentatively, I cannot find where is this monument, so I can't really find exactly where it is. Otherwise, this is fighting in the south. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry simply mentioned fighting at Bakhmut. They did not really say exactly where. Prigozhin actually visited the monument here, and then he basically stand there and recorded a video for 5 over minutes. And that actually perplexes the pro-Ukrainian crowd on Twitter, asking where the hell is the drones? Why is the drones? They can fly here, detect it, and then bombard the hell out and kill Prigozhin. Drop an atomic bomb here and boom. Then the thing is, they did not do that, and that actually vexes the pro-Ukrainian crowd a lot on Twitter, and I find that a bit interesting. It's a good point actually. The Prigozhin also recorded a voice message in his official announcement Telegram channel, that he was asked a question about the ammunition situation. So he basically in short answered that the ammunition situation has not changed. The Russian military still have not provided them with the requested ammunition, and in fact they have disabled all communication channels in the that they have with the Russian Defense Ministry, and they have removed all the passes, all the access passes to their department, to the HQ. So he said that he will not name anyone to get this more complicated. But he said that he's still doing okay, because he said that there's still positive moments, because he thanked some individuals. He's called industrialists, probably some corporate guy, or some magnates, or I don't know who are they, who are these people? I think you Russians probably will know better. And apparently he seems to be provided with ammunition from these guys. So I'm not sure if the translation was correct, but it seems to be that case. So the Wagner group still are getting ammunition somehow from private channels rather than from the government channels. But let's see how this goes. Without ammunition, the entire speech given by by Shoigu, it will be like nonsensical, because he said that Bakhmut is very important, but yet if they do not provide ammunition to Wagner, that would be one hell of an oxymoron. And according to the video that is being shared on Twitter by Warcube, it actually shows the bridge. This bridge that was previously blown up at this area here by the Ukrainians themselves has been the crossing actually have been recovered. There's a pontoon crossing over at this area here. And whoops. Oh no. My map hanged. Give me a second. What the hell? Okay, oh no, my mouse hanged too. Oh no. Oh, so I thought it hanged, but actually it's not hanged. I kind of like messed up a bit. Sorry. So there is a pontoon crossing now being established over at this river here, and as a result, the Ukrainians can now access through the road again on both sides. And given the footage of the road, vehicle actually moved in this direction, it seems like the Russian forces is actually not very near. Because they can kind of drive pretty safely. So the Russian forces might actually be pushed back. So they might actually be pushed back, and the Russian forces actually maybe not so near to the Kromove town or village anymore. However, the front line we do have is still around here. So they are reported, according to the pro-Ukrainian sources, that they are still trying to reach the highway of the 00506 towards Chasivya, and they are still trying to push towards the highway and try to take it. But the footage does show that the Ukrainians are using the road, which means that the Russians actually are not that near yet, and fire control might actually be very limited on the road. Moving on, we have nothing at Bodanivka though. The Wagner group, according to Prigozhin, issued a statement that they have captured Dubovo-Vasylivka. This actually is a very belated or only just confirmed a capture of Dubovo-Vasylivka, and previously it was disputed by Deep State UA and Surya Maps around 2 weeks ago, where I first mentioned the capture of Dubovo-Vasylivka. There's a possibility where the Ukrainian forces continue to counterattack and reinforce the lines. As a result, the village cannot be fully secured, and the Wagner continue to fight, and then now finally they are able to take the town. According to Wagner, the fighting is now on the western outskirts of Dubovo-Vasylivka, where the Ukrainians currently seems to be still counterattacking and try to take back the town. But no, for Wagner group, they don't easily announce a capture. So for them to announce a capture means that they are very confident of the capturing of this village. So it's highly credible. Fighting is also reported at Orikhovo-Vasylivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, and Deep State UA reported fighting near Zalynyansk, and probably fighting is wrong color. Fighting is probably around this area, with the Russian forces continue to try to push out and to move out and have more control over the region here. Moving on, there's into the Siversk Front, we have fighting reported at Rozalivka, according to pro-Ukrainian source Myro Shenikov. And there is also fighting reported at Spurny, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, as well as at Bilohorivka. The Russian Defense Ministry reported shelling at Ryhorivka, along with a number of other towns in the Kreminna front. So at the Kreminna front, there is shelling reported at Dubovo as well as at near Shvono-Popivka, Novolyubivka, Nevsky. In terms of the ground offensive, there is fighting reported in the Serebransky Forestry. According to Deep State UA, these are basically a copy and paste of their daily report, as they say that the battle continues with the situation unchanged, with the Russians continue to be pushing within the forestry. According to the pro-Ukrainian source Myro Shenikov, he instead like to talk about this line here from Toske all the way to Yampolivka, as they say that the Russians continue to be pushing towards Toske, towards Zarechny and Yampolivka. This is also unreported by any other sources, so do take this with a pinch of salt. In the further north area, there is fighting reported by Ryba in the area of the Balka-Zuravka. Balka-Zuravka is actually the valley, this valley here. So they say that the fighting is still in the high ground near Ploshchanka, and the high ground is actually here. So the fighting probably is still in this area here, and this is actually reported by the pro-Ukrainian source Myro Shenikov, where they say there is fighting near Nevsky. So it could be the same attack. It could be the same attack here. And away from the Kreminna front, we are moving into the Svatove front. At the Svatove front, we have shelling reported at Avdiivka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, and at Berestove, as well as at Kreminna. The Russian Defense Ministry reported a Ukrainian counteroffensive. In multiple locations, they reported that they have defended against Ukrainian attack from Myasozarivka, Stemakivka, Novoselivsky, Tabaivka, and Vyshana. So the Ukrainians, and also and one more place at Hrynikivka. So the Ukrainian forces launched a coordinated counterattack in multiple locations in this area here. However, the Russian Defense Ministries, the way they report seems to indicate that the offensive have not been successful. This is the line that was being attacked. With the Russians shelling Berestove, this area, maybe this attack at near Stemakivka was defeated, and there's also shelling at Sinkivka. So according to the Russian Defense Ministry, there is shelling at Sinkivka. This is one of the places where the Ukrainians have been always reinforcing and gathering their forces for potential offensive into the Russian lines. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that at Hrynikivka, the Russians are the one doing the offensive. However, the Russian Defense Ministry says that it's the Ukrainians. So it's not sure who is actually attacking, or it could be the Russians attack first. The Ukrainian attack first, because the Russian report is from yesterday, so they could be talking about the 7th of March. So, and then after that, the Russians actually counterattack the next day. So that could also be possible. So that's all from the Kupyansk front, and that's all from the summary of the day of 378 for the 8th of March. And do press the like button, do subscribe if you are new to this channel, and I'll see you in the next update.